Okay, welcome everyone for the September meeting. And I hope everyone had a safe and happy Labor Day weekend. And that's one of the reasons why I delayed the meeting from the first Wednesday until today, just because of the Labor Day holiday. A lot of people could not attend. So we have a Facebook group, Hot Dog. And so far, a few of you have signed up. It was requested at the last Kondrot meeting that we do get a Facebook group. And I'll be posting different information for those of you involved in the program. It's easy to sign up. You go to Facebook, go to groups, and it's called the Kondrot group. And all you have to do is click an invite, and I'll answer a couple questions and you'll be part of the group. If you have any trouble getting onto this Facebook group, you can give the office a call and they can help you. Also, I'm kind of excited. It's been a long time since I've been active with my missions, and we are going back to Senegal, Africa in October 18th to November the 2nd. We left Senegal unexpectedly a couple years ago, and there's a couple hundred people that were left behind because of COVID that are blind with cataracts. So this is part of the Mercy Ship. The Mercy Ship crew will be joining myself and my wife, and we're going to be taking care of the backlog of surgical cases of Senegal, Africa. There's been a lot of questions coming into the office regarding a microcurrent, and I thought I'd spend a little bit of time talking about microcurrent, and maybe after my brief presentation, if any of you have questions regarding microcurrent, we could address those first. The success of microcurrent depends on many parameters. As most of you know, I'm a big advocate of good nutrition. Colorful food will give you colorful vision. Food is our best medicine. I can't estimate or emphasize how important nutrition is. Also, balancing the autonomic nervous system, reducing stress. Unfortunately, a lot of times in traditional medicine, the eye doctor puts you in a stress state. You've got to have surgery. If you don't take your eye drops, you're going to go blind. And so sometimes that can put you in a stress state. And that's one of my goals, is to help all of you understand that there are alternatives. And I wear two hats. I'm that board certified ophthalmologist. And if I feel you need surgery, then I will be the first one to recommend that you need the surgery. But in most cases, we can begin alternative treatments. We can look at the underlying cause. Another factor is eliminating toxins, especially heavy metals. I hope all of you have had the 6-hour urine test for heavy metals, and if you do have elevated lead or mercury, you're beginning to address that. So microcurrent will work much better if you have good nutrition, your autonomic nervous system is balanced, i.e. reducing stress and eliminating toxins. Another very important factor is programming the right frequency and level of current, and I'll talk a little bit more about that over the next couple slides. Matching the correct frequency to resonate with the tissue and pathology is important for your success. And that's one of the most exciting areas in microcurrent, and that's one of the reasons why I'm back at school, believe it or not, at age 71. I'm studying to get my master's in electrical engineering. My wife thinks I'm crazy, but I find it very fascinating. And I think the next big advance with microcurrent is looking at these frequencies and looking at every part of the body, every cell, every structure as kind of like an antenna. So sending the right frequency to the antenna. So in the past, it was necessary for you to come to the office or mail your machine in. Now, through the innovations of Ning Wu, we can make these changes on your computer with an internet connection. So the advantages are greater ease in changing your microcurrent program. And I think a lot of you have taken advantage of that and have contacted the office, and we're updating your frequencies. There's no shipping cost, mailing the unit to the office, no downtime being without your microcurrent machine, and flexibility. Several of you have been changing frequencies every couple of months. And that's kind of exciting to me because this way I'm able to evaluate new frequencies which might be beneficial to you. So you do require a Windows computer. I apologize to all your all the Mac users out there. I'm a Mac user myself, and I have to have an extra Windows computer every time I do the programming. You also need a high-speed internet connection, and you need this InspirStar software and a special USB connection to your machine. So the cost is $5.99 for the software and cable, and you order that through Ningwu InspirStar. And it's $250 for each reprogramming. But if you are in a continued care program, which many of you are, there is no charge at all. We will give you the software and cable, and each programming is complimentary, because I really feel that one of the best ways I can help you is if you are in a program, and I like the continued care because we stay in close contact and we're able to really give you the best frequencies, the best current, and the best program. So if you're not in continued care, or if you decide you just want to get the software and cable and maybe have a reprogramming, that's another option. So you could contact the office for more information on that. Another exciting thing that happened is I am a contributing author in a major textbook on rehabilitation, neuroregeneration of the eye. And this was a key chapter that was published in the Italian literature. And I'm very excited about that. The Italians have embraced microcurrent. And next to me there is my good friend, Roberto Staggerwald. I did my residency program with him in Pittsburgh, and now he's a professor at the University of Rome. He has an interest in macular degeneration. He's using my microcurrent machine, so that's kind of exciting. Also, there's a company called iCell that has done some amazing research work, and they have asked me to be on their board to research some new frequencies. And of course, these frequencies are available for you to use. And what iCell has done, they've taken these frequencies, they call them signals, and they've discovered that certain microcurrent frequency signals can actually cause physiological changes, biochemical and physiological changes in the body. The first one is VEGF, V-E-G-F, vascular endothelial growth factor. And they've developed some signals both to stimulate these new blood vessels and block them, which is kind of exciting, because one of the problems with wet macular degeneration is an overgrowth of blood vessels. So there are certain signals to stop the overgrowth, and also signals to help new blood vessels grow if you have the dry. Another signal is SDF, stem cell derivative factor. They've actually identified a frequency or signal which causes stem cells to proliferate, grow, and redevelop neurological tissue, and possibly regeneration of the eye. So this is really exciting. We've actually, in the laboratory, have identified a frequency or signal which can stimulate stem cells to help regenerate the eye. And the last one is clothro, is an anti-aging protein. And clothro deficiency is associated with the risk of age-related disease, such as macular degeneration. So this is a signal which stimulates this anti-aging protein, which can help regenerate the eye. So this is truly exciting. We've been using microcurrent frequencies to improve circulation, reduce inflammation, improve oxygenation. But now we have these specific signals, which in the laboratory have demonstrated specific biochemical functions. Now, as many of you know, I became interested in microcurrent through Sam Snead, the great golfer. I heard on a radio show, it was Paul Harvey that said that Sam Snead is back golfing. He had advanced macular degeneration, and microcurrent reversed his macular degeneration. And when I first heard this, I became interested. I contacted the company, began using microcurrent in my practice. And a few years later, I had the pleasure of actually treating Sam Snead. Sam gave me golf lessons, and in exchange, I treated his eye. So it was a real pleasure to be with this great legend. I believe in synchronicity. This is the New York Times Magazine on my birthday, May 25th, 2014. And the whole issue was dealing with the body electric, how the new phase in medicine is going to be electrical stimulation, electricity, low current used to regenerate, causing certain physiological functions. So even mainstream media is becoming interested in the use of microcurrent. So basically, let's go back to basic. Electrons and disease. I think all of you know that we need an alkaline pH. An alkaline pH is an electron-rich pH. The more electrons you have in your body, the more alkaline you're going to be. So disease is a lack of electrons. An acidic pH is a deficiency in electrons, which indicates disease. So basically, any disease state, electrons are lacking. So what a better way? What happened here?
Yeah, something happened.
All right, let me get back to, okay. So anyway, any disease state is lacking in electrons. So what a better way to get these electrons in your body by using microcurrent. When you hold that microcurrent machine, electrons are going into your body. And of course, there's other ways to put electrons into your body besides microcurrent. Dr. Steven Sinatra talked about earthing or grounding, taking your shoes off and walking barefoot on the earth, where the electrons of the earth goes into your body. Of course, positive affirmations, I believe prayer, meditation, being around positive people. These are all ways to increase electrons in your body, and also eating healthy food. If you're eating food that's preserved, canned, etc., you are going to be eating acidic food, which is actually taking electrons away from you. So these are a few publications, and I don't want to go into detail how microcurrent improves circulation, improves cellular activity, which was amazing. This was a Korean study that showed that certain levels of current, a microcurrent, improve cellular activity by up to 500%. A couple of publications on microcurrent macular degeneration, microcurrent retinitis pigmentosa, and glaucoma. So there's a lot of articles in the literature supporting this. Microcurrent can also be used for musculoskeletal problems, and it probably has more use. This is a photograph of my son, Sean, who broke his wrist when he was a young boy. And using microcurrent, we were able to regenerate the bone. I always travel with my microcurrent machine, and there are many top athletes that use it. On the left is Lance Armstrong. His cycling team used microcurrent. On the right, that's my wife and I after the Marine Corps Marathon. And we were weak and debilitated and sore, and using the microcurrent, the simple inflammation program, helped us get back to normal, like within maybe 30, 40 minutes. Mm-hmm. My wife and I did the 500-mile Camino de Santiago pilgrimage in northern Spain, walking 500 miles. through some pretty tough territory. You have to cross the Pyrenees Mountains. So, you know, at age 60, when I did this, you know, my body's pretty sore after walking 15 to 20 miles a day. And microcurrent was really beneficial. If you want more information on the Camino de Santiago, please watch the movie The Way, starring Martin Sheen. It's a wonderful movie. And in the movie, it's interesting, Martin Sheen plays the role of an ophthalmologist. So if you haven't seen the movie The Way, rent it. I think you can watch it on Netflix. It's a great movie all about the Camino de Santiago. And there's some pictures that we took on the Camino de Santiago. And this is my friend, microcurrent. I developed plantar fasciitis on my foot, and the inflammation program greatly helped relieve my discomfort. In fact, at night, I would use the inflammation program on my whole body, which was beneficial. Just holding the gloves in my hand. Let's talk a little bit about basics. So we use something called frequency-specific microcurrent. Every tissue has a unique frequency or vibration, and we want to match the resonance of the microcurrent with the particular tissue we're treating. So if you have two A-sharp tuning forks and you vibrate them, they are going to resonate in harmony and give support. So essentially what we want to do is we send a certain frequency, certain resonance, which causes an activation or a supporting of a tissue of your body. So if we want to support the retina, we send a certain frequency of the retina in. Now, I'm an advanced ham radio operator, and that's my call sign, Kilo Mike 4, Juliet, Quebec, Romeo, KM4JQR. So if anybody out there listening, if you're a ham radio operator, email me, and maybe we'll try to talk on high frequency some night to have some fun. But it fascinates me with the ham radio because ham radio, we send out certain frequencies, a certain vibration. And that's one of the reasons why I'm back at school, because I'm interested in this idea of sending frequencies or certain resonance that can match the frequency or resonance of the tissue. If you assume that every tissue in the body is like a little antenna, we will send a specific frequency or vibration to match the resonance of that antenna, whether it's a retinal cell, whether it's DNA, and then we can cause it to have a certain physiological function. So this really fascinates me, and this is my interest right now. So modern frequency specific, we use hundreds, if not thousands of different frequencies, and we try to match the pathology and the tissue. So let's say you have retinal edema. We have a frequency for the retina, and we have a frequency for edema. So we contact the retina, the resonance, and then we send another carrier frequency to kind of have the retina, tell the retina what to do. Much like with the ham radio. If I'm going to be talking to someone in California, first we go on the same frequency. So we're on the same frequency and we're resonating with each other. And then I send a carrier wave of my voice, which is slightly off the band. And then we're able to communicate. So that's essentially what we're doing with microcurrent. We're communicating with the tissue through a certain frequency or vibration. And these are some examples of common pathological frequencies. So we have a frequency for inflammation, spasm, hemorrhage, scar tissue, and also there's an emotional component. And there seems to be an emotional component to every tissue. And these are some examples of tissue frequencies. There's some for the skin, muscle, ligaments, brain, liver, and of course we have various frequencies we've identified for the eye. So when we come up with a certain protocol for you, we first determine what type of pathological frequencies are needed. And this is not that simple because there are many, many different types of macular degeneration, many different types of glaucoma. And the macular degeneration in glaucoma may involve a different pathological part of the eye. So we want to identify that. Then we also want to identify the particular tissue that's involved. So I'm going to go through this here. So as I mentioned, I'm back to school at the R.A. Fulton School of Engineering. And this is actually my second visit. That was 25 years ago when I met Ning Wu, when I did take some basic engineering courses. And Ning Wu is the developer of the Inspir microcurrent machine. All right, so that is my presentation. I'm going to open things up for you. And also what I'm going to do is see if I can find the chat here. So where is the chat? Oh, here it is. You can either send me a question via chat, or the lines are open. I think that everybody's unmuted, so I should be able to hear you. So questions?
Hi, I have a question.
Yes. Yes, who is talking? Hi, Mary. Okay, that's a good question, and I should have mentioned it. Typically, we have some pretty good protocols, and my basic protocols have been developed over the last 20 years, so I'm constantly changing them. What I like you to do is to use your microcurrent protocol for at least 3 months. And then at the end of 3 months, if you're not satisfied with your vision, or let's say maybe you notice that the first couple of months there was an improvement and then you have a plateau and things haven't changed, then I want to talk to you about reprogramming your machine. The only time I'll reprogram your machine before 3 months is if you have a decrease in vision. Let's say within the first month you have some problems, then my concern is, well, maybe we don't have the right frequency and we should reprogram your machine. So the general rule is that we should wait 3 months before considering. And I have some patients that are using their microcurrent machines for a year and we haven't changed the frequency. Part of the reason for not changing the frequency, it was difficult. You had to send the machine back to the office, pay for the post, or you had to come back for a visit. So now with the ability for me to program your microcurrent machine online, it's amazing. It's really helpful. We can do it quickly and we can change the frequencies.
Hi, my name's Lori. It says Derek Adamski because that's my son's, it's his computer. How much zinc do we have in our vitamins?
It depends on the protocol that you're taking. I think that you're probably taking about 50 milligrams of zinc, and that seems to be an adequate amount.
Okay, I'm on the macular degeneration. I just didn't notice it in there, the 50.
It should be. I'll have to double check, but there is zinc in the macular protocol.
Okay, do you want me to email Crystal and ask that question?
Yeah, email her. But I know on our website you can actually click a link and it'll list all the ingredients.
Yeah, I saw them. I just didn't see much zinc.
It should be 50 milligrams, but I'll double check on that for you.
I'll email her. I thought it said 2 milligrams.
No, it would not be 2. It better not be 2.
I think it says 2 on mine, but I can take a picture of it and send it to Crystal, okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because zinc is really important, and some of you may be taking supplemental zinc. And that's one of the reasons why I have found that even patients who are taking zinc as a supplement are still deficient in zinc. And the reason is that you have heavy metals in your body, and the heavy metals are like big bullies. And the big bullies, they're huge molecules, they block the zinc.
Right. So there's
functioning.
zinc in the spray thing, right? The spray vitamin.
But the zinc in the spray thing is minimal. You may have 2 milligrams in the zinc spray.
No, well, it's the big one that has all the different pills. It's that one that we have the
Yeah.
zinc in, correct? Okay, I'll email Crystal that.
Double check with Crystal on that.
Yeah, because I looked and I thought it said 2 milligrams, but I may be reading it wrong.
I think you are. It better not be 2. I think it's 50.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Dr. Kondrot. Michael here.
Michael, how are you?
Hey, I'm okay. Got a question. Recently, when I'm doing a treatment, the check connection light keeps coming on, and I changed batteries. I start changing the batteries. I thought, oh, these are really bad batteries, but it's pretty frequent now. Anytime I do my my treatments, it says check connections and check connection 1 and 2. And what I've been doing is, checking the connections. It's usually when I'm laying down, I'm doing a prostate, treatment. And I try to check, under me and over me. And then I'm turning the machine on and off. So there's some, I don't know what's going on. And
well, one thing you might want to do is moisten the gloves and hold the gloves together in one hand really tight so the gloves are connected, and then run the machine.
Okay.
If the check lights still come on, that means it may be a defect in the cable or the gloves.
Okay.
If you don't have a very good connection, if you don't have a current loop, if the gloves are dry or not moist, you're not going to, those lights will come on. How old are your gloves and cable?
Well, I started treatment in November last year.
Yeah, I mean, they should hold up. If you take care of them, they should last for years. So I would do that.
Okay.
Turn the machine on, make sure the gloves are wet. Grab both gloves in one hand, hold them together, and see if it's operating.
All right.
If it's functioning fine, that means that it's probably a conduction, either going through your body. Maybe the glove is not in good contact with your body, or maybe you are dehydrated. You're severely dehydrated.
Interesting. Okay.
So check that out and let us know if you have any difficulty with that.
Okay, will do. Thank you.
Oh, there's somebody on the chat said, how do we know if the frequency is correct? Well, we don't send in one frequency. So let's say you have a glaucoma protocol. We probably have about 30 or 40 different frequencies for various parts of the eye. It's not one frequency. Also, there is a certain current level too. So I guess the answer is, if you really don't have any improvement after a couple of months, then our concern is we don't have the right frequency or the current. But remember this, the other factor may be, if you have a poor diet, if you're not eating healthy organic foods, you're not hydrated, you have a lot of heavy metals, you're under stress, microcurrent may not work. In order to maximize the effect of microcurrent, You need to have a good, healthy diet. You need those building blocks to help your body regenerate. You need to be hydrated, and you need to, get rid of those heavy metals if you have them. Now, microcurrent will work in some people. If they have a lousy diet, they have metals and they're under a lot of stress. But in order to maximize the effect of microcurrent, we want you to try to do all the ancillary things that we talk about. Good, healthy diet, proper hydration, detoxification.
How long does it take to get rid of your heavy metals? Because I have them.
It may take a long time. I've been treating myself for heavy metals for the last 25 years. And my protocol is I do the detoxamine suppository a couple times a week. I take the ocular detox, and I probably get an IV once a month if I have the time. Heavy metals are tough to get rid of. There's something called a half-life. Half-life is how long does it take for that substance to leave your body if you don't do anything. So let's say you have 2 grams of lead in your body. How long will it take for those 2 grams to get down to 1 gram? The half-life of lead is 99 years.
Yikes.
99 years. That means 100 years from now, half the lead in your body will be gone. But unfortunately, we're living in a toxic environment. The air we breathe, toxins, the water we drink, the food. So it's a game. We got to get rid of those toxins and at the same time not putting them into our body. That's why I'm a really big advocate of organic raw food, drinking plenty of water, an ongoing, chelation program. Because not only does chelation remove heavy metals, but it also improves your blood flow. Blood flow to your eye, your heart, your brain.
Will it get rid of the drusen?
I have photographic evidence after microcurrent and detox, the drusen disappear. A drusen is kind of like a constipated retina.
Yeah.
Toxins are there. So the microcurrent, so it'd be nice to look at serial photographs every 6 months to see what's happening to the drusen.
Well, my doctor took it last time, so I'm going to ask him to do that.
Good, every 6 months, and then make sure you send them to us and I can give you my opinion.
Okay, thank you.
But drusen, you can have benign drusen. My mother, when she was alive, I looked inside her eye and I almost had a heart attack. She had so many drusen. But she had good vision until the day she died. Perfect vision. But you look inside her eye, you say, oh my God, how can she possibly see anything?
Mm-hmm.
And but she got chelation from me. She was using the microcurrent. She was doing all those things. So she had excellent vision all her life.
Well, that makes me hopeful.
Dr. Kondrot, it's Ken Matthews here. I found it strange that I used the detoxamine like 3 containers over a little longer than 6 months, and it didn't budge the lead at all. So I got intravenous EDTA and about 10 or 11 of those, and it took me down from being in the middle of the graph to very low in the green area. So I was just curious why maybe the suppositories didn't appear to do anything.
Well, certainly the IV is the most effective way. That's the gold standard, but unfortunately it's the most expensive and time consuming because you have to go to a doctor's office. So the rectal suppository is more of an ongoing process. I'm using the rectal suppository, I do a couple every week. And I'm looking at it as long term, gradually taking out the lead and mercury. But on the other hand, if your lead is off the chart really high and you have symptoms, then, the intravenous is probably the best thing to do. I'm not saying that, you shouldn't do the IV, as most people really can't afford it. I mean, how much did you pay for the IV? It's usually $100 to $200 an IV.
Right. It was at least 110. No, 130, and that included ozone.
Okay, well, that was a pretty good deal. But then, it's not just one IV. You probably need 20 to 40 before it makes a difference. I've probably had over 100 IVs over the last 30 years. Over 100 IVs.
Right. Well, mine, 10 or 11 made a big difference.
Well, I guess you're lucky because your body may be, I guess the lead may have been more not, bond into your bone and your fat. Most people, the lead is really deep into your body.
Another question I had was with the microcurrent, how important is it that when you have the cloth over your face that you can actually feel it touching your eyelids?
I guess ideally it should be resting on your eyelids. You're still going to get an effect if it's on your forehead or maybe your upper cheek. We use the expression transpalpebral. Palpebral is the lid. So most of the studies that we did were transpalpebral through the closed eyelid. But interestingly, I think you'll still have an effect even if you would do the eye program holding it in your hand, because it's a resonant frequency which goes through your whole body. But I feel that you get a maximum effect when the current actually goes through the tissue. So draw an imaginary line from one glove or washcloth to the other. So back of the neck, the eye is an imaginary line going from your eye, through your eye to your neck. So if you're doing a treatment like of your elbow, one glove below or one above. Draw an imaginary line, whatever you're treating.
And you don't think that one eye gets more current than the other because of the where the contact is made? Like the electrical contact would be coming close to the left eye, depending on how you put the glove on. Versus
no, I don't think it has a difference. It's a
Going
resonant frequency which travels over that entire area. I don't think it really makes a difference. Also,
so
remember,
it doesn't matter.
It's alternating. It's going from one glove to the other. It's going back and forth.
Okay, but so you sorry, you figure that there's sort of it either doesn't matter where it enters the body so much, or the field is being generated from the entire glove and not just sort of the entry point, like
it's from the entire glove. Now, if your glove is dry, bone dry, it would only be generated by the wire going in. But if you look at an antenna, I'm involved with ham radio, and I can have a 20-foot antenna, and I'm sending a frequency into that antenna. It's radiating through the entire antenna. It's not that the frequency or intensity is more intense at the bottom than the top. It's the whole field that's resonated in terms of antenna design.
So the wet washcloths, they keep the glove wet, right?
The gloves don't have to be soaking wet, just damp. And the main way to tell if they're adequate in terms of moisture is look at the indicator lights on your microcurrent machine. If those lights are blinking,
Uh-huh.
or they're on, that means that there's not a good current.
See, oh, you mean the two lights at the top?
Right.
Okay,
They're
because
channel
I don't-
indicator.
I don't get my gloves wet. I just take my wet washcloth and put it around the glove. Is that okay?
Yeah, that should be adequate
Okay, I don't
because
think,
the gloves are going to become wet.
yeah, they do.
Now, the
Okay.
glove is made with silver impregnated silk.
Mm-hmm.
So when your gloves are brand new, you could probably hold them in your hand and you're going to get an adequate current even if they're dry. But as they get older, you lose some of that impregnated silver and it loses conduction. So I have found that the older gloves need more moisture to work properly.
Okay.
So always check those channel indicator lights. Yes. You should probably have your well water tested because if you have heavy metals in the well water, that's not going to be good. But if you have iron or some other minerals, that can actually help with the conduction. Because distilled water has very poor conduction. Hard water has good conduction. No, it's not a problem because number one, the current that we deliver is really low. It's between 20 and 100 microamps, which is a millionth of an amp. And I've talked to, several cardiologists and even people that have a pacemaker. It has absolutely no effect on the heart. In fact, there's a doctor in Colorado who's using microcurrent to treat patients after heart attacks. When the cardiac muscle is healing and it's irritable, he's using microcurrent. And the company I mentioned earlier, iCell, they have an approved device using to treat people after heart attacks using microcurrent directly over the heart to help regenerate the heart tissue. And that's an FDA-approved device. It's called MyoStim. And it is the device used post-MI to help people rehabilitate their heart. Because one of the problems after a heart attack, you have scar tissue, which causes irritability, and you can develop irregular heart rhythms. So it helps to heal the heart and prevent this irritation, reduces the inflammation.
Dr. Kondrot, Michael again.
Yeah, Michael.
I've got these, all the paper towels that are quality paper towels are strong. So I've accidentally threw these in the washer doing my laundry and they come out and they're in the same condition. So my question is, what if I, instead of using a washcloth, what if I try to use a paper towel?
You could. But I recommend a cotton washcloth.
Okay. Because
you can actually do the microcurrent without any washcloth.
Oh, okay. Oh.
You can just put the glove over your eye, but I think it protects the material, from
Right.
the oils of your skin, and ladies, the mascara. Oh, and let me make a comment. Ladies, if you do have mascara or makeup, you should not do the microcurrent with the mascara or makeup, because the microcurrent can act as a carrier. Those frequencies can take certain substances into the body. So, a lot of the makeup made from petrochemicals, and you're taking that into your body. On the other hand, it can work to our advantage. I love essential oils. Frankincense is one of my favorite. And a couple of drops of frankincense oil into the water, then soak the washcloth and hold that over your eye, because frankincense, there's been studies to show that frankincense can help regeneration, help in DNA stability, help increase telomere length, and all this. Good old-fashioned frankincense.
Dr. Kondrot, is that frankincense, is that not a scented oil? It has to be like a quality frankincense?
It needs to be a natural oil.
Okay.
If you have a chance, I interviewed a medical doctor, Dr. Marcel Vega. He's on one of my podcasts. He's an authority on essential oils, and his interview just blew my mind. He showed documentation, scientific study. They showed the benefit of essential oils. He's really big with essential oils. As a matter of fact, one of the best preventions of COVID is putting eucalyptus or Vicks Vapor Rub in your nose.
Oh, wow.
When I was a baby, every time I got a cold, my mother would rub Vicks Vapor on my chest, and I would breathe it in. And the Vicks Vapor will kill viruses. So anytime I travel with my wife and I'm going into a restaurant or a crowd, I'll stick my finger in the Vicks, rub both nostrils.
Wow.
I have to excuse myself. I have to go to a meeting. So thank you.
Okay, well, thank you so much for joining. And this is, hopefully the recording is going to work.
Okay.
And also, if you do have another topic that you'd like me to discuss, please let me know, because I enjoy giving a brief talk before, our discussion.
It was very helpful. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks. Because usually what I'll do is I'll get a pulse from Crystal in the office, and Tiffany. I'll say, hey, what have the calls been about? What are people, and she said, well, been a lot of questions about microcurrents. I thought I'd talk about microcurrent.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, and please, if you haven't signed up for our Facebook page, please do. That can be an opportunity for you to ask questions to me, to the office staff, so we can have like maybe a better community. That suggestion was made at the last meeting. So I got a Facebook page for us.
So Dr. Kondrot.
What do you mean by alpha blockers? They should not. They should not. When I do cataract surgery on the mission ship, we don't use any post-op eye drops. We just give an injection into the eye of an antibiotic and steroid. Mainly because when I do the mission work, a lot of these people don't live in a very healthy environment. There's not good sanitation, and putting eye drops in may cause more problems than not having them put in at all. But cataract surgery has come a long way, with the modern technique. Although I think that what God gave you, you should hang on to as long as possible. I am concerned that after cataract surgery, they put a plastic lens inside your eye. And plastic, we know, can leach different benzene products and toxins. But most people do not react. I guess you could do skin testing. You could talk to maybe a dermatologist or do skin testing. But I think if you're sensitive to plastics, some people are very environmentally toxic. They're very sensitive to perfumes and things like that, then that would be a person I think would have a high risk. And let me just make a comment, when should you have cataract surgery? I think if the cataracts are at a point where you can't function and you're not enjoying your life and, you're not able to read and you're limited, then that's time to have cataract surgery. Unfortunately, I've talked to so many people, they go to the eye doctor and the eye doctor goes, "You got cataracts." And the patient would go, "Okay, doc, let's get rid of them." And they're not having any trouble with their vision. They're functioning fine. I mean, why have a surgical procedure if you're functioning fine? And I think that, the cataracts are kind of like a warning sign. Why are you developing a cataract? You have to look at the underlying problem. So maybe it's your diet, nutrition, stress, heavy metals. So let's address those things so we can slow the development of the cataract and maybe prevent the need for surgery. And on the other hand, even if you do need surgery, at least we're taking some positive steps to prevent other problems from happening to your body. I'm 71, and every time I go to the eye doctor, they tell me, "You have early cataracts." But I don't want surgery. I'm functioning okay. But all of a sudden, if I reached a point where I couldn't function, I would definitely start doing microcurrent and taking the Oclumed and, trying to reverse it. But if that didn't work, then, I'd have to have the surgery. But that surgery should be the last resort, not the first resort. I'm not aware of any specific. You may want to listen to Dr. Vega's podcast. Go to kondrotpodcast.com. It's a listing of all my podcasts. He gave a brilliant. Oh, one essential oil that I think is overlooked is rosemary. There's been studies to show that rosemary crosses the blood-brain barrier. It can be helpful for memory problems, vision problems. So I like rosemary as an essential oil.
Okay.
But in my experience, the best treatment for cataracts is getting rid of heavy metals, because studies have shown that lead leads to the development of cataracts. Also detoxifying your body, cleaning up your diet, vitamin C, and I really like Oclumed as a product, Oclumed drops. Oclumed drops, in my experience, are the only eye drops that I have found to actually reverse cataracts.
Okay.
Dr. Kondrot.
Yes.
I have been using the microcurrent machine now probably since about January. And I felt at first I was, doing pretty good. I don't feel like I'm making any much progress now. So is that time to have things change, or talk to you, or talk to?
Yeah, I
what
think
do you
if
do at that point?
if you feel that you've reached a plateau, now's the time to maybe change some of the frequencies. I have found that the body tends to get used to a frequency. And we may have to change the frequency or current. And also, we got to look at other things too. I mean, what is your diet like? You have heavy metals? What's your stress levels? You know, look at all these things.
Yeah, I'm pretty good on diet. I'm vegetarian, so
Oh, good.
I pretty much try to do, you know, things that are good for me. If you, like, I know I'm from Glendale, Arizona. So my question is, do you have a recommendation of a doctor here that I should be seeing locally as far as a ophthalmologist?
I like Dr. Bruce Newman. He's in Cave Creek. He's a friend of mine. When I practiced in Arizona, every time I would take a vacation, he would cover the practice. He's a good guy, Dr. Bruce Newman in Cave Creek.
Okay, that's a bit of a drive for me. Is there any? And I mean, I understand that that's probably a good idea.
Well, you can see any eye doctor and send a copy of records to me, and I'd be happy to give you an opinion.
Okay, like I did mine at the end of the year last year. How often should I be seeing him?
I think you should probably get an eye exam every 6 months.
Okay.
You know, depending on your eyes. I mean, certainly if you're having a decrease in vision, you should get an immediate exam. But if your eyes are healthy, then, you know, every year or so.
Okay. Okay. And that was Dr. Newman?
Dr. Bruce Newman. Tell him I said hello.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, well, it's 1 o'clock, and it's time to put a close to the meeting unless somebody has a pressing question. I'll take one more. So our next meeting will be the first Wednesday in October. So if you have any suggestions for a topic to discuss, let me know. Please sign up for the Facebook group, and we can continue conversations and topics. Okay?
Okay. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you.
Okay, I want to thank everybody.
Take care.
All right,
Bye.
take care. Have a good month. Bye.